Alright, how's it going, everybody? I hope you are doing well. It's me, Slothlord, and again, if you didn't catch the last episode that I posted yesterday, let me just inform you that I screwed up. And this whole week, I will have to dub over my own videos to commentate, basically, what happened in the game. As you can see right now, we're talking to the Fairy Lord. He is trying to tell us what we need to do for in order to get to the Netherworld core. At this point in time, we're not sure if we can trust the Fairy Lord. He seems to be hiding something from us, so we're a little skeptical. Just if you're coming into this without context of the rest of the series, this is Ellen. She is a messenger for the fairies that can go between these worlds, and she's trying to reveal parts of her past. As you can see, he's talking about there. Typically, I would be reading this. That's what I'm doing right now. I give all the characters voices and stuff like that, but unfortunately, I don't feel like doing that for all of this right now, so I'm just going to commentate and summarize briefly what's going on. So we're currently in the undersea level. This has been an incredibly frustrating level. I came out of this incredibly bitter and salty. The boss took me so long to beat. You will see me beating the boss, but I won't be showing any of the battles because it's just too much time, and I don't want to have to talk over all of that and explain everything. So we just skipped ahead here. Basically, I'm just showing the cutscenes. So now we're talking to, we're in front of the place we were destined to go, and now we're having a little bit of a conflict. This is, I actually forget her name. Levine, I think. There's Keats, our dude. He's on Levain's side. Yeah, Levain. Okay. So clearly they're divided. These two people don't like each other at all. She seems to think that he's killing messengers for his own good, and that's not good for us playing as Ellen. This game does require us to switch sides, so we will play both as Keats and Ellen. So the next chapter, I'll be going through the same level through Keats' perspective. And that's an interesting thing about the game. Unfortunately, it does kind of get a little old after a bit because you are playing the same level over and over again with two different characters, so it kind of sucks that you have to sit there and go through all of that. But, I mean, the game has some cool concepts, and I really do think that it stands out on its own. And not a lot of people have really played this either, so that's kind of... Hopefully, if you're watching this and you think you might be interested, definitely check it out. As frustrating as I got in this episode, it was still a lot of fun to go through. There was no chance that I was going to restart any of this because of the boss alone. If you feel like the text is moving too fast, feel free to pause and read on your own. Typically, I would be reading that sitting there, but I'm not going to do that right now. So now I'm making a choice if we want to fight the folklore at the palace or visit the swamp to save Herve. Herve is a little boy who is kind of helpful to the investigation that we're running for both, a bunch of murders 17 years ago and also Ellen's past. So it's interesting to see just where that's going to lead. So, yeah, we've decided to go save Herve. Either way, we would have had to do it either as Ellen or Keats. So I decided to go as Ellen. However, I do think that canonically that wasn't the right choice to make. I think Ellen goes for the palace and Keats saves the boy. I think that's what's supposed to happen. So there's our dude Scarecrow. He's kind of shockingly joining our side. He seemed like he was a little loyal, but now he's like, yeah, screw the Fairy Lord. I stand you, Ellen. And we've skipped again. Here's Dr. Lester, who has since died. in the last episode, and he ends up here. He's trying to find Herv and basically talk him out of going from the Swamp of Oblivion, where he will be forgotten entirely, because Dr. Lester was his caretaker. Herv was sick, so Dr. Lester looked after him, and I think he feels guilty for that the boy died. And we skipped again. Here is an agonizingly painful boss. I hated this thing so much. I guess it's probably a good thing that my mic audio got muted, because I was swearing so hard through all of this, and I would have had to cut that out anyways. This little segment here is a little weird. If this is the first episode you're watching, I've skipped straight to the end. I've beat the boss at this point. I just have to, like, capture its id, which is basically just, like, stealing its soul. And it really makes you look stupid. Look at this stupid guy sitting there, acting all stupid. What an idiot. I scream here. Yeah. I was, so done with that boss. And to finally be done with that, I was so relieved. Until I have to fight it with Keats. But the Keats fight goes much smoother. So now we have our cutscene after that, and I'm just kind of sitting there, still recovering from that fight. So here we are, talking to Herv, and he thinks it would be better for him to just disappear completely, which I really don't care. That little pause there was just me chilling for a bit, just recovering. I didn't want to continue, so I just cut out all of that, so that's why it kind of jumped a little there. So here's Dr. Lester confronting Herv, and he feels guilty for letting him die, basically. And apparently Cecilia, who was Herv's childhood friend, everybody thought she was dead, but Herv knows that she's not. So now we're aiming to find Cecilia. I don't think Sloth at this point had really recalled any of that. He was just so focused on getting past the boss, so now he's just ranting here, talking about how many times it took. I forget how many times. I know it was a lot. I took 3 hours of footage and turned it into 12 minutes. That's how long I've been on the boss. The level itself didn't take me much time to get through. So yeah, it's really kind of slow with these parts, but they're just so packed with information that's useful to figuring out the rest of the series, so I really didn't want to go without that. I wanted to leave all of this in, so that way, if you guys are following the story, you have this information, so you can piece things together alongside of me. I have no idea what he's yelling about right now. He's so crazy. Yeah, you might notice that it's a lot different, me talking through this way versus how I am in the Let's Plays. The Let's Plays themselves take all my energy, so I just kind of sit here tiredly editing all the time. So that's why I compare the two different versions of me differently, because we're not the same guy. I don't know him. I don't know what goes into what he does, and he doesn't know what's going into what I'm doing right now. So now they're bringing up Mrs. Lester, who... Oh, excuse me. Now I'm even yawning in these just from how slow all this stuff is. Okay, so now we're talking to Mrs. Lester, who was so upset about... Well, I mean, her husband just died. He was murdered, actually. Someone murdered him. So we're trying to figure that out. And, but also, like, all the recent murders that are happening in the village of Dewland are, connected to the one 17 years ago. So we're getting a cassette tape that will have information that's useful for both ourselves and Mrs. Lester, where we're going to go get that now. Again, it's really just cutscenes at this point. Not much gameplay will be showed for the rest of the week as far as folklore will go, because the cutscenes take up so much of the time, and also they're just filled with information, so I really don't want to like cut those out. So yeah, I think this is Herv talking. So yeah, there's really not much else to say as we conclude our episode here. I think we have like about a minute left. Sorry, I'm reading as I'm watching this. Because I'm trying to like remember what exactly, because like I'm past this point as far as my filming goes, so I'm trying to piece together things as I'm sitting here, which is not the right time because I'm supposed to be commentating on it, but I also just kind of don't want to spoil anything for the next episodes, so I'm trying to make sure I'm not doing that either. But yeah, this is basically it. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Slothlord, and I will see you all next time.